Today we're talking about underrated electronic music gear that will improve your setup.
Freebeat.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to Freebeat, where I post new music-related content every single day, so if that sounds good to you, hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell, let's get started. So, really quick, this video is going to be geared towards those on the beginner side of things, but who knows, if you're an advanced user, maybe you can still find something to take away from this video. Building an electronic music gear setup is a lot of fun. It can be quite an addicting process, and depending on how many Red Means recording videos you watch, you might be buying more gear than you can keep track of. However, in the process of building up an electronic music setup, there are some roadblocks that you are going to come across that you might not have considered. And, today I want to talk about some underrated electronic music gear that will help you get past those roadblocks with hopefully not too much trouble. So the first piece of underrated gear that I want to talk about is something that, embarrassingly enough, took me almost 2 years to buy, and that is a good surge protector. Not only is a surge protector key to solid organization, but it is also a key aspect of the safety of your gear and your studio space itself. Even if that studio space is an end table on the couch, you still want to maintain a safe environment for music creation. You still want to maintain an organized workspace. I highly recommend buying a surge protector with more outlets than you might need. You can see this one here has 18 outlets. And as you can see, I'm using quite a few of them, and I still have several open here so I can plug stuff in on the fly. But I cannot tell you how much this surge protector improved my overall setup. Before purchasing this surge protector, I would either plug things directly into the wall or into this tiny little 3-outlet power strip that I had. And looking back on that, I cannot believe how unsafe that was, and I also can't believe how much of my creativity was being stifled by not being able to have gear plugged in whenever I needed it. Something that's going to be a little bit of a theme in this video is trying to keep your gear as quickly accessible as possible, and having at least the power supply plugged in and ready to go whenever you need it is paramount to having that gear ready to go whenever you need it. When inspiration strikes, you're going to want to be able to use your gear immediately, and having more than enough outlets to allow you to keep everything plugged in is really going to help with that process and help keep you as creative as possible. Best of all is a good surge protector can be found relatively inexpensively. I think this one right here was less than $40 US and was totally worth it. Surge protectors are really overlooked items when it comes to electronic music gear, and I think that you should definitely do a little research and pick one up that fits your needs. Don't skip it. It's well worth the small investment. All right, so number 2 has to do with cables, and more specifically, it has to do with making sure that you have cables that aid your convenience, so to speak. So this right here is a little 1/8" adapter that goes from stereo to left and right mono. This cable allows me to plug things like the OP1 here that have stereo 1/8" out into my mixer in stereo. Those are the left and right leads right there. I did not have one of these cables for a long time, despite having things like the OPZ and the NTS1, which have 1/8" stereo outs. It wasn't until I got one of these cables that I really discovered the true power of the NTS1's effects. Some of those stereo effects are just incredible, and I just couldn't hear it until I picked up one of these adapters. Here's the same adapter, but in 1/4" form. On the topic of cables and adapters, having easy access to those cables is another thing that's really going to improve your studio setup. If you're in a position like me where you can't have everything plugged in all the time, gear-wise, it makes a lot of sense to hang your cables, I think, so you can just quickly reach over and grab what you need when inspiration strikes. I also highly recommend one of these cables here. This is a USB Type-A extender. So it's a USB-A plug right there, male, and then this is a USB-A female plug. It basically gives any of your USB Type-A devices an extra 8 feet of cabling. So don't overlook the little extra adapters and cables that might be just $3 or $4 and you're kind of too lazy to get it. Don't overlook those. Pick those up. They will improve your experience drastically. When I first picked up my Arturia Microfreak down there in its case, I didn't have an extra 1/8" cable left over to sync it to my pocket operators, and I waited a long time to get one. Like, I think a month and a half after getting my Microfreak is when I finally spent the $2.99 for an extra 1/8" cable to be able to sync that up to my pocket operators and really jam. Just because they are small and cheap doesn't mean that cables and adapters are not important. All right, last on our list, number 3, you need a mixer. This is another item that I waited an embarrassingly long time to pick up. Now, I'm not saying you need to go pick up something like this. This is the Zoom LiveTrack L12. This is a 12-input mixer, as well as an audio interface, as well as an audio recorder, and it has a whole bunch of headphone outputs and monitor outs and things like that. Not saying you need something this crazy, but if you're unfamiliar with what a mixer does, basically it has different inputs at the top that you can plug your different pieces of gear into. Then it has an output, or in this case, several outputs, where you can listen to all of that gear through either one set of speakers or, as I use it, a set of headphones. You can also then control the levels, the volume of each piece of gear individually on the mixer. This goes again towards that concept of having everything plugged in and ready to go. Like I've said multiple times in this video, when inspiration strikes, you want to be able to turn on your gear and go. And a mixer is a key element in that process. Best of all, you can get an 8-channel mixer these days for less than $100 US, which is really cool. When I first started this channel, I did not have a mixer. I would plug my headphones directly into my device, and if I wanted to use multiple devices, well, if the device itself didn't have an external input for audio, I couldn't use it with anything else. If I would have gotten something as simple as a 4-channel mixer, I could have used my model cycles in stereo, a pocket operator, as well as my Arturia Microfreak all at the same time, which would have been a great combo for jamming. And like I said, 8-channel mixers can be found for less than $100 US these days, so I highly recommend adding a mixer to your setup. It will improve your workflow drastically. So there you have it. Those are 3 highly underrated pieces of electronic music gear that I don't see people talking about too often that will really improve your setup, your overall workflow, and hopefully make your creativity shine through. I do hope you found this video helpful. If so, be sure to leave a like on it. If not, you can always leave a dislike. That's okay too. Doesn't hurt my feelings, just makes me try that much harder next time. Either way, be sure to hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell. Thank you so very much for being here. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.